Hi, this is Sergio Fant, Berlinale programmer. Today I'm very happy to be speaking with Ran Tal, director of this year's official Berlinale Selection, 1,341 Frames of Love and War. Hello, Ran.
Hi.
Welcome. First, I'd like to ask you to introduce to our viewers the extraordinary protagonist of your film, and also tell us how the need to make a film about him came about.
Micha Bar-Am is originally from Berlin, Germany. He grew up not far away from the place that the film will be screened. So he think he going to be a normal German guy, but his story, is much more complicated than that. And he found himself in the mid-30s in Palestine. And then after 20 years, he started to take pictures and became a professional photographer. And later on became one of the most important ones that work in Israel, became a Magnum member. Now he's the older, I think, member in Magnum, friend with Cornel Kappa, one of the people that create and build the ICP in New York. So he had a huge career in the 60s, 70s, and 80s for all the big magazines, all this master of Magnum. And now he's 92, and I felt that this is a great opportunity to go to his archive, amazing archive, 500,000 negative. And it was, it was like to be to find a treasure. I can live in his basement for years, but unfortunately I had to finish the film. So he's a master of Magnum style that's not exist anymore. And he allowed me to, free access to the archive and give me the opportunity to speak about so many issues that I was interested in through these films.
תסבירי לי, אני לא מבין מה קורה פה.
הצבא חיפש את המחבלים שעשו את הפיגוע, והעקבות הוליכו אל הכפר. המחבלים התחבאו בתוך הכפר בין האנשים. ואז הם הביאו משתפי פעולה, וכדי שלא יזהו אותם, שמו עליהם שקים עם חורים בעיניים.
אז אלה עם השקים, אלה המשת"פים.
כן.
And you mentioned 500,000 shots and pictures in his archive. And by the way, how we came to the 1,341 that you mentioned in the title?
Between me and you, it's just a number. Okay. Because the film, one of the layers of the film is talking about archive and the meaning in archive and the complexity of archive. So I really wanted the title that bring this kind of huge numbers and huge information and the political question and the aesthetic question, what to pick up from this, it's endless opportunity. So it's a number like any other numbers. I like the number, I don't know why.
And talking about aesthetical choices you made in the film, for the greater part of it, you made a brilliantly simple but also radical and challenging choice of showing only still images. You work with full pictures, you made enlargement, you show us contact sheets from his archive. This was the idea from the very beginning, or how difficult it was to make, I would say, 90% of the film, if not more, just based on this very specific and precise work on the still pictures?
I always like to take this kind of aesthetic challenge. I don't know why to bother and spend three years on a film. And for me, it was very exciting for many reasons. One, I wanted to experience the history and his personal biography through his eyes. So by just sticking to the image, I can see what Micha saw, frame and freeze. And this is the only point of view that the audience actually experienced during watching the film. And it was also kind of cinematic question for me, how to work with the frozen image, that this is the still story in a way, the still essence, and the cinema, that it's a moving image. So this tension between freezing the image and moving the freeze image I think it's in the basic of this cinematic style. And I think it gives so much to play with the frozen and how to move the frozen image and how to freeze the moving image. So I felt it's a great challenge. I wanted to do it low-tech, you know, to go, because this is a low-tech art. Film, 35mm film, like a camera. So I wanted the film will have this kind of low-tech experience, and because I can digitize and did a lot of stuff. So there's so much about photography in the film that I felt, you know, it would be a fantastic opportunity for me to limit myself in order to achieve, hopefully, something much deeper and important.
Let's stay with the pictures. I mean, because I think by getting to know the work of Micha in this film, we soon realize that he operates a lot on the dialogue and confrontation of glances between the subjects, between the in the frame and off frame, which then also becomes an interplay with the gaze of the photographer himself. And since most of the pictures are about conflicts, there is a lot also of that power play that comes in these pictures. I was wondering how you, with your gaze, with your camera, you found your place in this very delicate structure of looking at each other.
Yeah, it's a great question, because Micha's style, you know, he's such an amazing, he can capture it. It's like a scene in one frame, you know, there is so many, like you say, people look at each other, there is something in the background, in the foreground. It's the opposite on this Instagram day when everything is very graphic. So it's any of these great images, it's like a huge situation or like a huge scene for cinema or from, you know, the old master of painting. And for me, it was like a struggle, when to go in and when to stay and give the audience the full image, and how long, because sometimes you can look like half a minute, 45 seconds on one image. So this kind of tempo, music between move fast, being slow, going in, go out, it's something that I try to struggle all during the editing, and I hope I did a good job with that, because you know, it's, as I say, it's a different art, cinema and photography, and I really wanted to take the benefit from both of them with a lot of respect to the frame that he creates. You know, I really want to give him honors to the frame that he chose to present to the world.
We spoke about the pictures, but let's also talk about the voices, because these pictures, they go along with a kind of two voices dramaturgy. One voice, of course, is the voice of Micha Bar-Am, but also we have a second voice, the voice of his wife, Orna. And I was wondering when you understand that her voice was also this relevant to create the narration of the film, and how much you understand, and when you understand which was her role in the film.
You know, the first time I came to convince them that join me to this journey, I understood that Orna is huge. She's very, very important, because people don't know her, but there is no Micha without Orna, and there is no Orna without Micha. She's behind the scene, you know, during the last 60 years, but her eye and the way they analyze photography, the way they combine different images together, allowed to Micha to become such an important artist. So it was very important for me that she would be part of the voice of the film, because of the history of the bodywork of Micha is belong to her, you know, in many ways as well. And also the relationship between Micha and Orna was very intimate, funny, asking important questions about archive, photography, ethics, and stuff like that. So I used this argument between them to raise a lot of questions that came out naturally without my question and without my dialogue with them. So I think she brought so much to the film. I really, you know, I owe her a lot that she allowed me to go into this intimacy between this couple.
כשזרקו אותי מבית ספר, מבליך, בגיל 16, אז ההורים שלי אמרו, אוקיי, נו, מה נעשה איתך עכשיו עוד פעם? וזה כי הייתי ילד מאוד בעייתי. הוא היה צריך לנסוע לסיבוב, חתיכת סיבוב, כן? הוא לקח אותי איתו. פריז, לונדון, ניו יורק, וושינגטון, לוס אנג'לס וחזרה. זה היה בית ספר, ולמדתי המון ממנו, רק מלהסתכל, אתה יודע. בתי מלון, כל העולם, זה היה חתיכת סיבוב.
And about the family, I mean, we understand from the film that family played somehow a minor role in the career of this man who was extremely busy with his work. But it plays an important role in the film. We see just a few shots of his family pictures, but they are relevant for you, I think, I guess, in this completing this portrait.
Yeah, I think it's given me another point of view, much more intimate about his private life, because, you know, his shots, the family shots are amazing as well, and very, very beautiful. And I think it also allowed me to speak about Micha from another angle, the kids, and see the tension and the price that people like Micha, that document violence all their life, became post-traumatic in many ways, and how you as a kids live with an artist that go there every weeks or months to another battlefield and come back after that with so much effect as a post-traumatic person. So I think the sons that are extremely, extremely smart give me another very important angle about intimate stuff and also about the price the artists like Micha pay, and also the whole family need to pay in order to achieve such a great, amazing and big body of work in 60 years. So I felt it's necessary to put them in speaking about Micha.
And finally, I'd like to ask you, one might get the impression at some point in the film that you, in this dialogue with Micha, you maybe were hoping for him to go further in his reflection on his story, and most of all, on the point of view that he had on the tragedies and the horror that he has portrayed with his camera. But this has to deal with memory and the way we deal with memory and with trauma. Am I right when I have the feeling that you were maybe hoping that the discussion could develop further, and maybe it was also his right to deny you to go there?
Yeah, I respect, you know, what is don't want to speak, and sometimes, you know, as a narrative, as a dramatic, from dramatic point of view, if somebody don't want to speak, sometimes it's much more powerful when somebody start to cry when you open the camera. So I think when Micha don't want to speak, sometimes it's much more powerful than he speak. And Micha said in the beginning of the film, and I totally agree with that sometimes we need to forget. Sometimes we need to forget because the memory, especially if we're talking about the Jewish history and the Zionist, the Israeli project, sometimes the memory is like, you know, it's like a cable. They don't give you the option to go further. The film is also asking question about the relationship between photography and memory, photography and bad memories and trauma. And when he said, I don't want to speak about it, I want to forget, I think it's much more powerful. The rejection, it says so much about the issue, much more than, you know, that's gave me all these fears and mistake he made and so on.
Okay, and thank you very much for your time and for showing your film at the Berlinale, of course. Thank you.
Thank you so much.